Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to Tiny Blue Games. I of course am Seesaw or Chris, and today we're looking at our Guardian spec. This is my Guardian the Calm. I'm sure you've seen him in other videos. It's recently been my decision that I am going to do some more PvE content on him at level 80 in Guild Wars 2. Just also for future note, because we are a channel that has multiple different games playing, and I'm sure some of the subscribers probably like to watch both or all the games that we're doing. But if you don't, for future reference, I will always put the game name in the start of the title of the video. So for this video, it's going to be Guild Wars 2 or GW2 dash whatever the title for this specific episode is, and then if you're, it's a WildStar video, it's gonna be WildStar dash whatever that is. So if you don't want to watch the other game videos, you don't have to, so I will just let you know what the title is of it. So if you want to watch all of them, that's great. People just love video games, so go right for it. I'll be very happy with that too. Anyway, so back to the whole Guardian thing. We're doing the Guardian because we've had a lot of requests for PvE content. He's the only guy that I've really solidly gotten into PvE content on this game before with, and because of that, he's the most set up to do it. I'm probably going to do that mixed with some obvious World v World, as well as I want to work on this another little character, but we'll get into that in a little bit. So let's talk about the Guardian spec. Let's get right into it. What do we want to talk about first? We'll talk about the weapons first. The weapons, we've got the scepter and the torch, and then we've also got the sword and the shield. Now, the sword is a pretty common choice for Guardians. Let's just go in here and do some damage. You got the single target damage, it's just great, and that's really why you go ahead and take the sword. You also have a blind, as well as your basic attack has the big burst at the end. The shield, not necessarily, it's not a necessary part of the build by any means. You could take a focus, any other offhand weapon really instead. The reason I take the shield is I just really like the look of the sword and shield, as well as the skills aren't bad for survivability. They are handy to have, especially if you're going to have a little bit of healing capability. So that's why I take that. Let's talk more about the scepter and the torch. Now, the scepter is somewhat common as well. The torch perhaps not, and I'll show you why I use them. I mean, they're not bad damage, obviously. That's a really nice route. So we do some pretty good damage just basically, but what the big thing is, and why we have this, is because we're going to be doing range DPS, and it's a very handy thing to have range DPS on a Guardian. You're going to see me use my heal skill here and just heal right up. The range DPS is great for a lot of fights where it's just too difficult to get in, or there's periods of the fight where you can't go and just DPS like you'd love to on the boss, right? Because maybe there's AoEs on the ground or something like that, and you just need to step back for a bit. So that's why I take the range. Some people would go for the one-handed sword, two-handed sword, which is something I might look into for the more AoE fights. But really, when we're talking about boss and single target damage, this is my best combination, and it also works better with the spec that I'm running, which I'll get into in a second. So let's talk about the other parts here. We got the Litany of Wrath, which is our heal skill. The things to note about it is that it's only a 24-second cooldown, which is really quick for a heal. It's going to give you a healing of 1,600, or it's also affected by your healing stat, but it's going to give you a base heal, followed by it's going to give me another 1.9678, which is actually more than double the doubling the original heal. And that's simply because it's a meditation. And then it's also going to give me 20% of the damage dealt returned to me as healing for 6 seconds, and it's also going to put on Fury for 20% critical strike chance increased for 5.25 seconds. And that's a lot from one skill. So what you're noticing here is that you're going to get the fury as well as you're going to get healing from the damage you do. So that's going to work hand in hand. And then there's the bonus healing as well. Now what you're going to notice is we're going to take as many meditations as we can. We actually got 4 of them here, and that's really what the build focuses around. It focuses around the single target damage, as well as the meditations that heal as well as increase your fury. Buff you a fury, I guess. So the next one we take is teleport to your target and burn nearby foes. So you got the heal on this, which is about 2k, as well as the 5.25 seconds of fury. Here you have the healing, which is 1.987. So it's pretty much 2k twice. So 4k heals from this skill, 2k from this skill. It's gonna have fury on this as well. This one's 40 seconds. This one's 36 seconds. Now this one heals me 2k and gives me fury, and it also does damage to people with conditions. You could also put the condition removal thing on, but I take this one because it's got a 16-second cooldown for the 5.25 seconds of fury and the heal. That's ridiculous, because between this and this, you're gonna have fury up pretty much all the time, especially if you work these in every so often. And then finally we take renewed focus. Obviously you could take any of them really. If there was one thing Guardians don't have, it's probably they don't have the best ultimates or elite skills. But this one's pretty good because these are pretty handy, as well as the immune is pretty handy for certain boss fights. So that's what I'd like to stay with for my guy. What we're going to do now is we're going to take a quick look at, well, let's talk just quickly about stats. As far as gearing this guy goes, we've got all exotics. I've got one actual piece of crafted ascended gear. I'm probably going to work on starting to farm materials for that. And then over here we also have all these ascended as well. What stats we're going to be focusing on really at this point, because we're mainly damage, we're going to focus on the berserker kind of stuff. So we've got power, precision, ferocity. Other stats that are sometimes helpful, I mean obviously we're not just a glass cannon since we have the heals. So anything you put into healing would be good as well. But generally you want the power, precision, ferocity, and that's mostly because here you notice that I have 57% critical strike chance. Actually, even if I switch 57% critical chance, and then I also have 219% critical damage, and then the power just increases my general damage. But with the 57% critical strike damage, plus the 20% from the fury that you're going to have up most of the time, you're at about 77%, which is pretty much critting most of the time. Like that's 1 out of 5 shots won't crit, and that's not a bad place to be, because let's be honest, who doesn't like to see red damage? Finally, we're going to go to the skills here, and we're going to look at the traits. So for Zeal, we're going to put 10 in, or 2 in I guess now. And we're going to go and we're going to take increased damage against burning foes. Notice that we have the torch, so there's some burning involved there. Notice that we have the Judgment's Intervention, which has burning there. And we also have the burning from Virtue of Justice. So there's going to be a fair amount of chance to have burning, and we're going to use that to our benefit. And then we also get from it, create a symbol of wrath whenever you're struck below. It's not a huge thing there. So we're going to put 6 into Radiance, and we're going to take Blind Exposure. Inflicting blindness also applies vulnerability. I take this because the charge or teleport or whatever gives blindness, which is going to also increase our... which is going to give us how much? 3% vulnerability for 11 seconds. So that's why I take it. Ultimately, you could kind of switch that one. That's not the big thing there. Reduces recharge on torch skills. All burning durations increase. This goes hand in hand with this. Increases the burning from our torch. It also reduces the cooldown on that, which is great for our long range fights or AoE with the flame breath. Finally, we put right hand strength, and this was one of the biggest parts of this build. Critical hit chance with one-handed weapons is increased by 15%. So we talked about how much critical hit chance I have. 15% chance with critical with one-hand weapons. So that's pretty much everything, right? Like the first three of both sets has the, you can see there, critical chance increased by 15% on both of them. So that's pretty huge to have that as well. Finally, we move down to Valor, and this is where our survivability comes in. You're also going to note that we have increased power. Here we have the increased precision, which also helps with the critical chance. Condition, we have the flame. It's not a huge deal. Here we're going to take increased ferocity, big, and toughness just to give us a bit of survivability. We got reduced recharge on meditations, so that's all these skills, including our heal, reduced by 20%. The recharge. Meditations grant fury. All 4 of these skills grant fury. And then use meditation skills to heal you. All 4 of these skills heal you. So let's just look at how much healing we're getting from that one thing. We're getting the 2k times 4, so we're getting 8,000 healing. And 2 of these are like 16 and 24, so there's a lot of healing coming just from that one meditation ability, and that's really good to see. Other things, we have gain might whenever you block attacks, virtue of courage is recharged when you rally, gain aegis whenever you're struck below threshold, deal more damage to flows inflicted with conditions. This is really important because it actually goes hand in hand with our deal more damage against people who are burning, so that's now 20% more damage. And then Virtue of Justice just removes renew whenever you kill a foe, and when activated, Virtue of Justice blinds nearby. Yeah, so that's the big part of this build. It's got the survivability and it's got the heals. I used to run more of a glass cannon build. I just find it fun and helpful if you can do a lot more healing with your build as well as the damage. So here we're getting attacked. So you got the flame breath here. You can see there's been a few crits there, but we're gonna go right ahead and use this, which is a pretty big ranged hit, and then we're gonna go and do this. So you've got enough damage, AoE, and range that it's worthwhile. So here we have just a bit more combat. A good way to open is often to launch yourself at the enemy, so you have the burning and then you do the damage as well. Go through your skills fairly quickly. I don't like to waste any skills if I don't have to, but it's nice just to get the quick finish. So here we come in as well. This time we're going to take a little bit more damage right away. I'm just going to let him do that. We're going to pop this, and then we're going to put our big damage out, and we're going to just heal for as much damage as we're doing for a little while there, which keeps us up and sustainable. You notice we have a lot of heals that we can just pop if we absolutely have to, which is a pretty big thing to have. Now we've got a huge group here. I don't know how we're going to do. We don't want to take all of them as we will probably die. So we're taking some damage from these guys. Put a dot on this. Karka has a Alright, so we're going to take this guy on here. We're going to freeze him there for a bit, do some range damage, and then burn him as he comes in. And that's all she wrote. So you see the crits there, and that's really the big thing we wanted to talk about, is you're going to have a lot of critical damage, and that's huge for this build. So you go and put the vulnerability on, do your attack. It's just really nice and quick. And there's the finisher for the swords, which is a nice AoE damage ability. Alright. Well guys, I think that's all I want to cover in this video. I just look at my I just wanted to share my spec before I went and did a bunch of PvP, or PvE I mean, so that you know what you're looking at while you're watching me, as well as if you just wanted to know a Guardian spec that I use, here you go. Thanks for watching this video, and thanks for staying with the channel even though we've been away for a while. I'm hoping that, you know, having the videos come back at a more constant rate now is going to really drive up a bunch more you know, people interested in the channel, as well as comments and all that, because that's what I really like about what we had going for a bit there is there was a lot of comments, a lot of talking about what people liked and didn't like in the channel. So I'm glad that I have some people commenting on the videos, and it means a lot to me. So always make sure you comment, always make sure you like if you liked it, dislike if you disliked it. I really do watch it. I mean, I don't have that many videos and stuff, so I pay attention to the ones I have. And thanks for watching, guys.
Thanks for watching. If you like this, be sure to like it. If you have a comment about it, or a suggestion for a future video, please leave one. If you have friends, share it. And finally, and most importantly, subscribe. Honestly, only one of these is red. Click it.